Hey friends, in this video, we will talk about boundaries. Boundaries are really important to all of us. Why? They're around us every day. For example, when your parent or adult is driving a car, can they drive down the street as fast or as slow as they want? What do you think? Technically, they can go whatever speed they want to, but there could be consequences for them when they don't follow the traffic signs or the speed limits, the boundaries for them and others. On the road, these boundaries are enforced by police, the government, other laws. If you drive above the speed limit, you're more likely to also get in an accident, crash the car, hurt yourselves, hurt other people, and receive a very expensive ticket to pay. In another example, at home, a boundary might be that you can't walk on your furniture. You just know you're not allowed to, or maybe you can't walk on certain furniture, but you can walk on the couch or your bed maybe, I don't know. Everybody has boundaries in their home. These are rules depending on the furniture, for example, in your house, the car, where you are. These protect you. Boundaries protect us. They protect us not only from breaking something, but also from hurting ourselves and other people. There are not just boundaries on the road and at home, but also boundaries at school, at church, in the store, and in relationships with other people. Some boundaries are protected by law, by tickets, by your parents. Others are personal and change person to person, depending on who it is. Others are more common sense, more well-known. You see, personal and relational boundaries are our guidelines for what we're okay with and not okay with in our relationship with another person. These boundaries are limits that we set with other people. We all have boundaries. If somebody doesn't obey our boundary, we usually feel uncomfortable or even frustrated, angry. You can set your own boundaries too. When you're little, parents often set boundaries for you, for their children. Boundaries are healthy. They can be very specific. Your parents might have had boundaries on who could hold you or could play with you by themselves, or what foods you ate, where you slept. As you get older, you get new boundaries on what you can and can't do. School has different boundaries than your house does. For another example, you have a boundary maybe during Halloween. If you participate in Halloween, you get candy, and your parents probably allow you to eat a certain amount or tell you how much you can have and when. Maybe you have boundaries about crossing the street, what games you can play inside the house, and then only play outside the house. These all help you to be safe and healthy. They protect you and others, no matter what the boundary is. Boundaries are not just from our parents. They're not just in our house. They're also a part of any friendship or dating relationship. In a healthy relationship, we give space for open and honest conversation about our needs, our limits, our wants. We talk and we feel safe doing so. Everybody is different, and boundaries might change over time. For example, when you were younger, you might have liked hugging new friends. But now you're more comfortable with handshakes or high fives or just waving. Or the other way around. Maybe you really like hugging now, but you didn't when you were a little kid because you were shy. That's totally okay. You don't need to feel guilty for making boundaries, ever. Sometimes our limits and boundaries change based on our experiences. That's okay too. We have different boundaries with different people and even with different experiences. You're different with a teacher than you are with a family member or with a friend. This is partially just because of the relationship you have, but it is partially because of boundaries, because of rules with that person. It's normal. For example, if I meet somebody at the grocery store today, I'm not going to share all sorts of information about my entire life with them. But I would share that kind of stuff with a friend of mine today. That's a boundary. I'm not going to tell a stranger where I live because I don't know them, but my friends know. Boundaries are connected to what we share on social media and the internet too. We have to protect ourselves on that space as well. I want you to answer 2 questions for me now. Listen carefully. What are some boundaries which help you feel loved and safe with your family? What are some boundaries which help you feel loved and safe with your family? And the second question I want you to answer is, what kinds of boundaries make you feel safe with strangers? So these will be on the screen. Write 2 to 4 examples with each question. Pause the video and answer those 2 questions now. So, what makes you feel loved and safe with family? Kind words, hugs, kisses, conversation, trust, respect, being listened to, being played with? What about with a stranger? Maybe you wrote down personal space, not being touched, kind words, respectful attitudes, not staring, low voices, no shouting. You see, there are very different answers of your boundaries with strangers than there are with family. Whenever we feel uncomfortable about somebody, it's okay to ask for help, and it's good to listen to our body and what our body is telling us. Some people call this our gut or intuition. Is your body telling you that that person's unsafe, or that you're nervous, anxious, yucky feeling, scared, not safe? We can listen to our feelings and tell a safe adult when we're uncomfortable with somebody else. We can also move away from that person. When somebody makes you upset or uncomfortable, it might mean that they haven't listened to one of your boundaries. We cannot control other people, but we can be respectful and speak up when somebody else is not. Questions are a great way to be respectful. For example, you could say to somebody you know, "You look sad, can I give you a hug?" Or, "Do you want to talk?" Or, "I'm happy to see you, can I give you a hug?" Or, "You look like you need help. Can I help you get through there? Can I help you get up there?" These are good questions to be respectful of somebody else's space and body. All right, pause the video again here and write out how you feel if somebody does not respect your boundaries. Write 1 to 3 sentences. You might want to start your sentence with, "If somebody doesn't listen to me, or if somebody doesn't respect my boundary, I feel." So, what did you write down? How do you feel if somebody doesn't respect your boundary or listen to you? Do you feel mad, sad, frustrated, disrespected, disappointed, confused, hurt? If we hurt somebody else, it's our responsibility to apologize. Maybe we didn't know their boundary, or we touched their body. Maybe we touched their hair, or reached for their hand, or we pushed their wheelchair for them. And they actually didn't want us to do those things. So we could simply offer an apology. Saying sorry is often enough help. It's okay to make mistakes, and people know that. But it becomes a better world together if we apologize when we're wrong or when we hurt somebody. That's what you want if somebody hurts you too, even if it was just because they didn't understand one of your boundaries. Boundaries then are about telling other people how you like to be treated and speaking up when they aren't following that, when they aren't following the rules that you have about your body. So take some time and write in your journal or notebook 1 boundary you have in your house, 1 boundary you have with teachers or adults, and 1 you have outside, somewhere you go. Let's say church or the store or a playground. Write a boundary, lastly, that you have with your friends. Remember, it's important to respect other boundaries, to tell an adult if somebody is not respecting our boundaries, and to be loving and kind if we've made a mistake. We can always say sorry. All right, thank you for listening.